Back to star signs through astrology. Astrology through a psychic eyes. I don't know why I got very deep. We're on Taurus. Taurus is from April 20th to May 20th. Have you read any other astrology books? Well, if so, then you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that there's always one sign that an astrologer does not like. That's because when you read about the various signs, both positive and negative aspects are discussed. But then you get to one particular sign, you realize that there seems to be nothing but negative traits associated with it. Well, I'm going to have to be very tolerant with the sign of Taurus. Sylvia Brown is, I don't care much. There. And I've got to be kind about this. God, I have to be kind. Taurus people are boring. I'm trying to be kind, but every Taurus that I've ever known, and I mean a fully aspected Taurus, has a tendency towards stupidity. Yet I do not think that they are actually that dumb, but they act that way. They will often reply to questions with, huh? And a puzzled look. I think I know a Taurus or two. Just saying. I think this is to make someone come on more. You will want to walk up and say, do you hear me? Are you listening? Watch my lips. I just did that. It's really dramatic. Everyone has a Taurus friend, has a karmic debt. Even when you have, say, get away, they hang on to your leg. You can beat them with a stick and they say, I love you anyway. And Aries ought to work with the Taurus for God's sake, because they've got enough patience. Aries will repeat things 55 times and the Taurus would say, I finally get it, which would make the Aries say, oh, how wonderful. Taurians usually have very high flatulent speech. They usually talk like this. The cosmic influence of the seminal fluid and the great beyond of the ad infinitum are commonly together in the heated vortex within. When they say, pardon me, but I do not understand a thing you're saying, in this instance, they just ask you to have sex without you even knowing it. I'm sorry. It's too funny. There's a little... What is this? Oh. One. By fully aspected, I mean that no other aspects, planetary limits, negate the Taurus traits. That's what fully aspected means. Okay. Taurians. See, I thought that seminal fluid, that kind of went sex. I don't know why my mind went there. Maybe I'm smarter than the average Yogi Bear. Taurians are also very poetic in their speech, which seems contrary to their sign. But they always sound like they're going to break into Shakespeare, which seems like a paradox because they're so thick they can think of 16 different ways to say something beautifully, and this is the sign that gets drunk on words. Their verbalization pattern is something to behold. Taurus is the sign of the bull, and bulls are definitely stubborn. This is basically how you can spot Taurus. Hell hath no fury like Taurians on a rampage. They will walk over anybody, but it is usually out of righteous anger because they are ruled by Venus, the love planet. So this is not a malicious sign, yet don't get Taurians mad at you because they're vindictive and will absolutely stalk you like an elephant. I don't want to be stalked by an elephant, no thank you. Taurians do not forget past injustices, and they also remember their past pain as well, and will remind you of it. The tragedy with the Taurus is that their pain is just as fresh today as it was the first time. Their pain will often make you feel guilty, and if you tell them about your guilt, they will tell you to think nothing of it. So they're not malicious, but they do become very martyred. It has always been said that the water signs are martyred, but Taurians outdo them all. Taurians can be the biggest martyrs in the world. They will tell you what they've done for you when they did it, why they did it, and how they did it. They tend to live in the past a lot. If you're married to a Taurus, this individual will tell you about their past romances, and they will go into details about the whole situation. Remind me never to hook up with a Taurus. They want to tell you and confess all, which is called spilling your guts. Not only that, they will tell you how much better you are than their previous lovers, but that still doesn't stop them from telling you too many details. Yeah, I think I pretty much know a Taurus. Taurus is an earth sign. Some astrologers say that earth signs are base. Taurians are not base or crude, though. Taurians of all the earth signs are really very high-flown and poetic. Many times they will go on for years in a very beautiful platonic relationship. So their primary motives is not just to bed you down. Not at all. They can simply love people for the love that they have for them. I would not call them a tremendously sensual sign at all. They put out sensuality, but they are not necessarily that sensual. It is much like talking a good story, but the action is lacking. If you're in a relationship with a Taurus, this person will stalk you for years and years after. Taurians are obsessive about wanting to know what caused the breakup. They're much like Arians in that way. And what is really amazing about Taurians, and I have never seen this to fail, is that they are not really affectionate as far as touching, but they do have a tendency to tweak you. They will tweak and punch and pinch. They will walk up to both cheeks and pinch them. Taurians are very aesthetic in all forms, writing, acting, music, and so on. You'll find a lot of actors and actresses on their side of Taurus, and they do have a natural flair for design, colors, and that type of thing. All earth signs have this. They are also marvelous sales people and can sell you anything. You may even have buyer's remorse at the time, but you purchase something, and yet you find yourself signing on the dotted line. They really are the manipulators of the zodiac, but they do it in such an ingenious way that you don't mind, at least not with a true Taurus. Taurians can be so glib, smoothing over everything that you're doing, what they want people, you realize it. You may say, I don't want to do this, but here I am doing it. Taurians are the type of individual who will take your advice saying, thank you very much, then go and do things exactly the way they were doing it before. But they will thank you for the advice. If you had told them about a new shortcut that would have saved them time, they would say thank you and use the old long way instead. Of Taurus can be led but never push. Taurians are really in-service individuals. That is, they will always let you know that they have performed some service for you. The only tragedy here is that they will constantly remind you of it. Even in their sexual life, they say, are you pleased that are you thankful for it? So they need to be in your service sexually or otherwise, and you should be grateful. Where is your... There we go. Taurians have a habit of asking how you like everything. A movie, dinner, tea, whatever. Do you like that? They will ask repeatedly. They also have a habit of watching you to see if you're enjoying something, such as a play or movie. If you're listening to a record, they watch to see if you're enjoying it, which of course makes you an animated goof after a while. Ecology and all growing things are of great concern to Taurians. This is because they are very concerned about the earth, its growth, and what will be left here for future generations. They are horticulturalists, and they always have something growing someplace. Neatness is very important to Taurians too. In fact, they can drive you crazy with their finickiness. English is hard, kids. If by chance they are not neat, then even without in the chaos, there's organization. No matter what the mess, they know where everything is. You ask, where is that paper? And they say, in the other room on the desk. And you're afraid to enter that room because you know a rat will jump out and get you. So you walk in the room and yell back, you gotta be kidding. I can't find anything in here. Taurus will then come in and say, there it is. 2 sheets down, over to the right, under the dirty hank, and I found it. So this individual knows exactly where it is. Therefore, there must be some kind of filing system going on there. They know where all the trivia is in their minds, as well as all the trivia in the house. Taurus is not as nitpicky as the Capricorn, though. Capricorns do something, they will tell you the exact day of the week, what clothes they wore, how they did it, the weather, and if it was 2:12 or 2:13 p.m. when it happened, and you say, oh yeah. Taurians are mental note takers, and they also make lists of themselves every day, usually posting them. Not only that, but if you allow them to, they will make lists of you, for you too. They have to make sure that everything will be alright. Taurians will fall madly in love, and they are a very flirtatious sign. They are not like Virgos, some of the other signs, who can be in love with 3 people equally all at once. Taurians can love many. They are very magnanimous. And they can love people collectively. I love you all, they say, and they are not kidding about it. They really love everyone. Taurians are really not lovers of home and family, although they will keep a home and have a family. I'm going to call them the primary motherhood or fatherhood sign. They're just not. They will procreate and leave it at that. It is there, it is alright, and they will give allegiances. But there is no ego structure involved with the act of creation. They do not say, this is what I made this child before you. To a Taurus, you will say, oh, your little boy is so cute, and they reply, he's alright, fine, he will do. Most other signs feel that this is a reflection on themselves, but Taurians say, well, I did it, everyone does, big deal. They still show great allegiances to their children, but they are simply not overwhelmed with the fact of having them. It is a natural thing to do. Taurians do not care much for genetics, heritage, family roots, and the like. They view people as singularly unique rather than a collective of traits from their ancestors. They tend to say, I exist, which is enough for me, and so do you, and that is all there is. Taurus can get totally furious instantaneously for no apparent reason. You will back up saying, what started that anyway? What you do not want to see is a Taurus go at it with a fire sign. It is unbelievably violent. The fire sign is determined to keep the earth sign from putting a damper on them. When Taurus is arguing with you, it feels as though your whole identity is in jeopardy. They can really slash you out of pain or vulnerability. English is hard, but the cutting can go very deep. Taurians are champions at being positive beyond anything you can imagine, yet they do not strangle you with it. It is more a concern about your health, welfare, and safety. Where were you? You didn't call me, and I was worried. You said you would be home at 8, and it's now 8:02 p.m. What happened? So don't leave a Taurus hanging, walking the floor. They worry too much. What time is it? Okay. I do not know where all of the Taurians are. I ask people, do you know any Taurians? They always say no. Nobody seems to know any of them. I think they crawled under a rock, and that is the end of them. Taurians are usually very sentimental. They never forget birthdays, anniversaries, and so forth. First thing in the morning, they'll say, do you know what day it is? Strike up the band. It's someone's birthday. Taurians tend to be very fluent. They make money, and they mark their success by how much money they can generate. Every Taurus male that I know of has become a lawyer and bought property. Even the females will buy property. They're homesteaders. They don't care if it's a shack, but they put their sign on it. I own this. Taurians have total tunnel vision. If they become fixed on one thing, hell hath no fury like a Taurus, because they go forging right ahead in the face of all obstacles, and they do not see danger on either side. They simply have a goal and go right for it. Physical characteristics. Even though Libra is air, Taurus is earth, they are both ruled by Venus, so you will find that many Taurians are very light-eyed, have light hair, and are finely boned. A true Taurus anyways. However, they do have their thick necks. Taurus are marked by beautiful, expressive hands. The male's hands look like surgeon's hands, and females look like they could model their hands in commercials. Taurians are very nicely built. Everything's compact and seems to fit right into place. They always seem to be very evenly proportioned, even they're heavy. I don't know whether they dress like that, but they always look okay. You're always deceived by Taurians' weight, too, because they look slimmer than they really are. Weak eyes and weak hearing are a problem for Taurians. Maybe that's why they scream so much. The Taurus nervous system is very ticklish. That's enough. They will shout when annoyed. Ticklish. So don't want to grate on their nerves for very long. Taurians are very sensitive to smells and sounds because they are sensory-oriented people. Their sensory input is brilliant. They like beautiful colors and sounds. And that's it for Taurus. I will see you guys next time.